Really tough to beat the Yankees 2 in a row. Why? Well, look at their numbers. They are now 30-14 following a loss. After Detroit won Game 1 Tuesday night, the Yankees claimed Game 1 of this doubleheader here at Comerica Park. We're ready for the nightcap, if you will. And the Tigers are looking to win the season series with a knockout here on Fox Sports Detroit. Hi, everyone. With Hall of Famer Jack Morris, I'm Matt Shepard. Never easy to play 2 games in one day. This is why you've got extended lineups in September. What will be the challenge here this afternoon or later on this evening?
Well, it's really a whole different lineup. The guys that were on the bench in Game 1 of this 2 games doubleheader are going to play in Game 2, and the other guys, there's about 6 of them that are going to go sit on the bench. So everybody got a little rest. Gardy's trying to spread it all out. Of course, the Reyes and a few other guys are going to be in there every game.
All right, fired up for this pitching matchup. Spencer Turnbull for Detroit, CC Sabathia, one of the best of his generation for New York. How does Spencer Turnbull recreate some early season magic?
Let's just hope that he goes out there in the first inning and he throws strikes, and he has a little bit of a positive feed early in the game. I think if he goes out there and struggles in the first inning, it could be a quick exit for him. He's got to go out and command his pitches, but he knows that this Yankee team can do a lot of damage, and you can't make mistakes, so if he navigates the first, it should be pretty good.
You've always respected CC Sabathia. Why has he lasted this long?
Well, he's just reinvented himself in a way. He used to be a power fastball pitcher. He's still got a great curveball, but he knows how to pitch. He has a good feel for what he needs to do. He's trying to miss bats and uses a lot more off-speed pitches now.
40 career starts against the Tigers, 21 wins. The 21 wins, the second most in CC Sabathia's career. He's only beaten Kansas City more often. Spencer Turnbull and the Tigers will be the challenge. Does Detroit have what it takes to win the nightcap? We sure hope so. And we've got first pitch and starting lineups next. Saw some fog, and it continues to hover over a beautiful Comerica Park as we get ready for Game 2. Here's the Yankees batting order presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. They have 5 new players in their lineup who did not participate in Game 1. Gleyber Torres at second, Gary Sanchez behind the plate, Brett Gardner in center, Mike Ford and Tyler Wade at first base and left field respectively.
And today's Tigers starting pitcher is Spencer Turnbull, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. No question this kid's just trying to get back on track. He's got to be able to command his pitches, get ahead of the count. This Yankee lineup, very, very challenging for him.
And you always talk about first pitch strikes with Spencer Turnbull. He does just that to DJ LeMahieu. LeMahieu 0 for 6 in the first one. Changes that with one swing down the right field line here in the second game of this twin bill. McLaren Health Plan brings you the Tigers starting defense. Dixon, Harold Castro, and Victor Reyes shifts from center over to right field. The infield is brand new except for Jeimer Candelario, who played first in the first game. Jordy Mercer at short with Gordon Beckham up the middle. Now it's Aaron Judge. Turnbull against New York for the first time in his major league career.
Well, to make it more challenging for us, they've kind of shifted up the umpiring crew also. There's a couple changes.
This is a check swing grounder foul. We talked about Candelario starting at first. He moves to the other corner. First time since August 4th he starts at third base. Inside to Aaron Judge.
I know one thing, Gardy has had a long talk with Spencer Turnbull the other day, and he asked him to quit thinking so much, quit worrying about pitches. He says, whatever that catcher puts down, try to throw it the best you can, get ahead in the count, throw more fastballs, be more aggressive. He wants him to work quicker and quit trying to think too much. I think part of what Spencer does is he gets into these mindsets that he has to be perfect, and we know that that doesn't work for anybody. You've got to go do your best, and he wants them to work quick and throw strikes.
Judge sends one to right. Reyes is drifting back. It's lost in the fog for a moment, and now it's lost in the seats for good. Like the Yankees did earlier, a 2-run homer here in the first.
Well, this Yankee team reminds me a lot of the Minnesota Twins, and they are a lot alike with home runs. Aaron Judge has yet to hit the ball. In the first game of this series, there was a lot of walks, but this one, a slider that just stayed up in the zone, did absolutely nothing except go a long way. And Aaron Judge, who, like I said, walked 3 times, reached on an error, scored a few times, hits the first pitch, or the first swing he takes off of Spencer Turnbull into the right field stands.
22nd homer of the year for Aaron Judge. And that was a lot of strength right there, Jack, because that ball was, as you mentioned, up.
Well, and we also talked about it in game 1 of the series here, or of this doubleheader today. And it's even worse now with the fog. There's damp air, and I mean, it's just hanging here. You can see it. And so balls don't travel in this kind of weather. A little bit of a breeze rolling in from right field, so you really have to muscle it to get it out opposite field like Aaron Judge just did.
Judge is one of 7 players on this Yankees squad with 20 homers or more. Tough to navigate through. And Gregorius follows it back. He's got 16 on the season, does Didi Gregorius. He's batting 3rd in this New York lineup this afternoon, or early evening. He batted 5th in game 1. One for 4 in game 1 with a 2-run triple. On the ground to Gordon Beckham. Beckham playing second for the first time since August 31st behind Spencer Turnbull, so good to see him back in there. He was scheduled to start in Oakland, but stiff neck, injured from lifting some weights, put a pause on that. Here's Gleyber Torres. Torres Tuesday night in the 4th. A solo shot. One of 6 homers on the night by the Yankees. Finds a hole on the left side. Beat the shift.
Yeah, beat the shift on the side that they shifted. The ball had to be hit fairly hard to get it through. They had 3 men on the defense on the shortstop side of second base. See where Beckham's playing and where Mercer's playing. The ball finds the middle of the 2 of them.
Second hit of the series for Torres, and now Gary Sanchez stands in. Those 34 homers you saw for Sanchez are a single season record for a Yankee catcher. And they will shift him as well. He owns the top 2 home run marks in a single season by a Yankees catcher.
Kitchen.
1 and not in time. Started nicely by Candelario, but it was such a slow roller it allowed Sanchez that extra beat to beat the relay from Beckham.
Yeah, this is slow and developing. Candy gets in front of Mercer and just flips it right to Beckham. Beckham tries to get rid of it as fast as he can, but by the time this all unfolded, Sanchez was already crossing first base.
You said kitchen right away. Explain what you mean by that.
Well, he got jammed. It was, you know, that's our term baseball for getting inside, missing the barrel of the bat, getting below the label. Typically those kind of pitches result in a lot of broken bats. He didn't get any good wood on the ball, and it was just a slow roller over to Candyman.
Brett Gardner didn't break any bats on Tuesday night. Broke a few hearts early on, Tigers hearts anyway. A solo homer in the first and then a 2-run homer in the second. Did not play earlier today. Center field in game 2 here. The 2-homer game for Gardner was his first of the season, and 8th of his Yankees career. Outside to make it 2-1. Five homers in the last 8 games for Brett Gardner, who you would argue is not viewed as a power hitter, and yet he's got 23 on the season. 2-2 to him.
Yeah, we saw it in the first game of the series here. Gardner got a couple pitches inside. The first one especially was down and in. He just opened up and hooked it right around the foul pole down the right field line. And then got another one a little bit more over the plate and hit it a little bit further into right field.
Strikes out here to end the first, but the Yankees draw early blood. Aaron Judge with a 2-run homer, and the Tigers bat in the first. From game 1, Harold Jordy Mercer at short, Brandon Dixon in left, Grayson Greiner behind the dish, John Hicks at first and batting 8th, and Gordon Beckham batting 9th and playing 2nd.
And the left-hander CC Sabathia will be pitching for the Yankees. He's 5-8 on the year. Leads all active pitchers with 3,082 strikeouts, 251 wins, and 3,570.1 innings pitched. 319 quality starts in his career.
Jack, he's given up 27 homers in 20 games. Do you read anything into that? We talked earlier today, Matthew Boyd struggled to keep the Yankees and a lot of teams in the ballpark this year, but we also had a look at how many great Tiger pitchers have surrendered homers. You, Mickey Lolich, Denny McLain. What do you read into the 27 homers?
The numbers aren't what CC is used to this year, no question about it. In fact, he's admitted that if it wasn't for the chance to be in another championship run and possibility of being in the World Series, he would have retired. He's needs surgery on a knee. He's pitching through pain. The guy is just, he's probably the most liked guy on that Yankee team over all the things he's gone through in his career.
And that's this year, with Sabathia giving up as many homers as he has. Kikuchi at one point was leading baseball in home runs allowed. That's minimum 20 starts now. But he has 21-14 all time against Detroit. His 22 wins against Kansas City is the only team he has beaten more.
The one thing about CC this year, the opposition has been jumping all over the first pitch he throws. And he's a guy that always tries to pitch ahead. And, you know, at this point in his career, he's got to pitch ahead. He can't afford to get behind. He doesn't have those put away pitches anymore. So he's got to be efficient and get ahead in the counts. And this year, the opposing hitters have jumped all over that first pitch.
Facing Harold Castro. Yankees play Castro to pull. Goes the other way. LeMahieu at third base. Quick exchange to get him by a step. All right, with no Tigers Live pregame, we know you're interested in our Ram pick the stick. Simo had the first choice and took a guy who's got a hitting streak that has reached 13 games. Mickey chose Harold Castro. Dan Petrie went with Jeimer Candelario, who had a triple in game 1 earlier today. I went with Jordy Mercer. Jack went with Grayson Greiner, and Gibby pulled up the rear with Ronnie Rodriguez. What we need to see is the season tallies thus far, since there was no Tigers Live pregame. Give people an idea which one they should be going with as they use their Twitter device And hashtag the talent's name. You could win a Fox Sports Detroit prize pack if you win it. 1-1 to Jeimer Candelario. Candelario tripled in the 7th and scored in game 1. 1 for 4. He had also walked. Here's the 1-2. Now it's even. Love to see the Tigers go yard. If Detroit combines for 3 or more homers in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. The 2-2 from Sabathia. Fought off. Such a quick changeover between game 1 and game 2. Jack and I could use an Arby's roast beef and curly fries right now.
And time to breathe so I can finish my lineup here. Late Yankee lineup. So we're trying to fill in our scorecards.
The 2-2 stroke to short, but right there is Didi Gregorius. Tigers go 1-2-3 to start this one and trail 2-zip. A salute to those military men and women, and a salute early to Aaron Judge, because the Yankee slugger went yard in the first inning, a 2-run blast, giving New York a 2-0 lead. Bottom third of the order to face Spencer Turnbull, Luke Voit, Mike Ford, and Tyler Wade. Check swing makes it 1-1. Voit, one of 4 Yankees to play both games of this doubleheader. Hit a 2-run homer in the first inning in game number 1. Drives this one to center. Harold Castro's all over it.
Let's take a little look at Spencer Turnbull this year, making his 27th start. It's the most by a Tiger rookie since Rick Porcello in 2009. He had 31, so still got a few starts to go for Spencer.
Still looking for his first win at Comerica Park.
Yeah, that's kind of mind-boggling.
Isn't it, though? This is his 16th start here. He's 0-10 in the previous 15 starts.
He came out of spring training and really caught everybody's attention.
Sure
he was probably the best pitcher the Tigers had in spring training. And Gardy and Rick Anderson had so much enthusiasm, optimism for this kid and what he could do. And he got off to a fairly decent start. And then things just kept snowballing and snowballing. And there's a pattern that's formed. We've talked about it several times. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it looks as though earlier he has taken Gardy's advice and he's pounding that strike zone with more fastballs, challenging the hitters. It's funny because we know that the Yankee hitters have already acknowledged this guy's got the best stuff on their team. They know that Spencer's stuff is good. It's just a matter of, can he command his pitches? Can he throw the ball and get into situations where it's going to be more efficient for him?
The 2-1 to Mike Ford. And he beats the shift, hitting into it. Second Yankee to do that tonight. It's a 1-out single for the New York first baseman. Now a word from your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers.
Check out the 2019 Ford F-150, now at your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first.
With 1 away and a man on, here's Tyler Wade, the number 9 hitter, playing left field, getting that start here for the Yankees in game 2 of this doubleheader. Wade started in right field Tuesday night in game 1. Fouls the first pitch back and went 1 for 3. Had a 2-run triple in a 5-run second for New York. You were talking about Spencer Turnbull. He's only got 3 wins, right? The 3 wins are against Boston, Philadelphia, and Atlanta. Those are pretty good teams with pretty potent lineups. So it does make you wonder a little bit. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed. But it goes back to what you and Gibby and Dan and Simo have talked about all season long. It is very, very difficult for young players to stay consistent at the major league level. Yankees historically pretty consistent. 27 world titles, more than any other sports franchise in North America. Canadians, I believe, are second with 24, is it? I believe so. 24 Stanley Cups all time. The 1-2 to Wade. On the outside corner. If the Yankees don't make the World Series this year, it'll be the first time since before the 1920s they went an entire decade without at least one appearance. That is a phenomenal statistic and just reeks of consistency. Back to the top of the order for DJ LeMahieu. Singled and scored in the first. He's going to find the right center field gap here in the second. He'll hustle into second. They're going to wave the man home. Beckham's relay way up the line. That allows LeMahieu to trot on to third.
Well, you see this is a slider that's down, but it stays over the middle of the plate. And LeMahieu inside outs it, kind of shoots it to right. Gibby and Dan Petrie were talking about his ability to go the other way in game one. Then Beckham airmails one up the line. Turnbull thought about throwing it, did the right thing. It took a while for Reyes to get to this ball here, and this whole play developing. I don't know if they're going to give him LeMahieu a triple or a double and advancing on the throw. That's what I would give him.
Yeah, double, and then the advances to third on the throw. And here's Aaron Judge. LeMahieu already making up for what happened in game one. Judge with a 2-run homer in the first, takes it inside. Judge in the opener of this twin bill was on base every single time in 5 plate appearances. He walked 3 times, singled and was safe on an error. He scored 4 runs in the game earlier. Way out in front, 2-1. Sixteenth pitch of the inning. And the 3-1. Swung on and missed.
Well, 3-1 pitch. He throws a slider and he's able to locate it down and away. I think Judge thought he was going to get a cookie fastball there in that 3-1 count. So Turnbull and Griner still on the same page what to throw, and then he hangs one.
Might have gotten away with it though to center field for Harold Castro. He puts it away. Yankees score a run. They take a 3-0 lead. Earlier this season, CC Sabathia joined a group of some of the greatest lefties of all time. Jack Morris has got a really good perspective on Randy Johnson, Steve Carlton, and more when we come back.
EE Energy brings you the Impact Performance. We're going to take a look at a couple of the toughest left-handed strikeout pitchers in the history of the game. Randy Johnson, you saw the numbers there. Steve Carlton, lefty. He was behind. Randy actually passed him. Both guys were absolutely filthy. And then guess who's third in line? CC Sabathia, the man on the mound. It's been a remarkable career. 250 plus wins, over 3,000 strikeouts.
And you think he may be a Hall of Fame teammate of yours?
I really do. I think he's going to be there someday.
Facing Ronnie Rodriguez, Jordy Mercer, and Brandon Dixon here in the Tigers second. Tied him up 0-2. Skips in there to make it 1-2. The next man on that list, by the way, you saw Randy Johnson. Jack talked of Steve Carlton, then CC Sabathia. After that, the next lefty on the list is Mickey Lolich. Tiger great with 2,832. Swung on and missed. There's Sabathia's first strikeout of the day. Let's look at CC Sabathia's resume to get in to the Hall with my partner Jack Morris.
Well, he's in his 19th season. CC is 558 starts. That in itself is pretty remarkable. Over 251 wins and a good win-loss ratio. ERA under 3.8, which qualifies. Seeing as I set the bar at 3.9, anything under that should qualify.
You know what I always said to people though about that is when they used to, I would have these debates with national writers about your eligibility, and they would say, well, if he got in, he'd have the highest ERA. I said, who has it now?
Yeah, nobody knew.
And nobody knew that it was Red Ruff. Mercer fouls it back. And his, I believe, I'll have to get our crack staff on this, I believe it was right around 3.8.
Well, we're going to hunt down the league average right now, right? Major League Baseball league average.
Yeah, how
ERA.
does it change?
And I got to believe a 3.9 or a 3.73 in CC's. That's pretty acceptable.
Well, it's like we were talking about in game one. We were talking about the home runs that are now so prevalent in baseball today. How is it going to change the conversation moving forward? And you have to take a look at that when it comes to pitchers too, because they're the ones giving them up. The 1-2 to Mercer, swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the second for Sabathia. He's just tied John Smoltz for 16th all-time on the Major League strikeout list.
Well, we were talking about earlier already about CC and how he's changed as a pitcher. Now, these are situations CC when he was young and with Cleveland in his early days, it would be a 96, 98 mile an hour fastball. He'd just rear back and let it go. But he's learned how to pitch, a lot like Frank Tanana, my teammate, who had the great fastball and curveball when he was young and then had to learn to pitch without that velocity and still was effective. That's what I admire about both of them.
One 1-0 to Brandon Dixon. Sounded like he broke his bat. Little flare to center. It's going to drop in front of Brett Gardner.
You'd think the grass would be a little bit wet. It'd be kind of like a slip and slide, a little bit of fun. Go for it, right?
I think that's what happened with Gordon Becken's relay. I think the ball was a little wet there.
Yeah, could have
on
been.
that relay in the last inning.
Ball goes right off the end of the bat. You can tell by the sound, and it falls just in front of Brett Gardner.
First hit of game 2 here for the Tigers.
One thing about players playing in this damp, humid, foggy day is you've got to stay loose. You've got to move around in the outfield. You don't want to be pulling any hamstrings. This is kind of the weather that is conducive for that. So you've got to try to keep moving out there.
Griner pops it up in foul territory. Out of the reach of Ford. Griner played Tuesday in the series opener and had a heck of a night. Went 3 for 5 with a double and a couple of RBIs. That was his third 3-hit game of the year. Told me the other day he's made a little bit of an adjustment. So next time up, we'll try to talk you through that. As Craig Monroe joins us, Griner strikes out. Sabathia strikes out the side in the second.
Pitch to everybody's weakness all the time, not trying to overthink everything and trying to make the perfect pitch. I think for me, it's getting back to just like trusting my stuff and trusting that my strengths are going to be better than their strengths more often than not. So I think that's a big part of it for me. I think I've at times try to make too many perfect pitches and easy to get the pitch counts way too high, and then you're 30 pitches in an inning, you get pulled, that inning blows up on you. It's just stuff like that. I think if I get back to trusting my stuff a little bit more and attacking more consistently, I think I'll have better results more consistently as well.
That's Spencer Turnbull on his own venture, I guess, through this year. And quite honestly, the issue is for Spencer is he knows what the problem is. He acknowledges the problem. It's just making the adjustments necessary to make a difference out there. And I think it's, we're only in the third inning here, and that's no real sample size of what we want to see. But I can tell, because I've seen enough of him and know him well enough, that he's doing some of those adjustments right now. He's just trying to work ahead, make some good pitches. He hasn't let a couple hard hit balls affect him too much, not overthinking it. But that's the issue. A lot of times guys don't even know what the problem is, and then it's also difficult when you know what it is and can't make an adjustment.
Well, how much of the adjustment is physical and how much is mental for him?
Well, I think they go hand in hand. First, when your mind's fighting everything else, you're not really aware of where your body is. And I talk about body control all the time, whether it's hitting or pitching. You have to be under control. And, for pitchers at the big league level, they probably already have thrown enough pitches in their life to absolutely understand their mechanics and what adjustments they have to make between pitches in order to tweak those mechanics to throw the ball where they want to.
Second time he's retired Didi Gregorius. And with one out, here's Gleyber Torres. Do you see anything that leads you to believe he's making what you would consider the appropriate adjustments? Not full, but the appropriate
Shep,
ones.
I think it's just a case where you're not going to probably see any major changes between now and the end of the year. You're just hoping that by the time the season ends for Spencer, he's willing to at least continue to work hard. I know he's already looking forward to the offseason. He's going to change a lot of his routine. He wants to get on a different, physical workout program. He wants to learn what, how he can stay stronger between starts. These are all new experiences for him because of the innings he's pitching this year. But more than anything, you got to go through the offseason with confidence, knowing that, hey, if I do my hard work, I'm going to reap the benefits of it, and I'm going to be able to throw the ball where I want to and get some good results.
We talk a lot about what some of the things he needs to do. What do you like that he does now?
I think for the most parts, he's got very good mechanics, and good mechanics should allow him to be durable. We haven't seen a lot of durability because he hasn't gotten deep into ball games, and that can be improved when he starts commanding his pitches better. I'm not an expert on anybody, and I certainly don't know Spencer the way Spencer knows Spencer. I can't get into his head, but I sometimes wish I could. I play this game when I watch baseball games, like if I could have what he has, just his stuff, and know what I know, how would it work? And it goes back to that conversation I had years ago with Doyle Alexandra when he basically told me that. He said, Jack, if I had your arm and my brain, I'd be ashamed if I didn't win 20 a year. It's like, oh, Doyle, I got you. You got my attention. All right, what do I need to do here?
Nice job to strike out and battle through against Torres. It's his third strikeout in game 2 here for Spencer Turnbull.
Well, strikeouts have been down for Spencer here in the last few starts. And here was a kid that was really throwing a lot of strikeouts early. And I think that's another thing. When he's ahead in counts, he's going to get natural strikeouts. That was just a simple two-seam fastball that just tailed inside. And that's when he talks about trusting his stuff, that's kind of one of the pitches he's talking about.
Sanchez fouls the first offering back.
So much of this game is a mind game. To stay positive, through the challenging times of losing, of struggling, of failure. You know, those are the things that baseball players have to understand. I mean, we laugh, we talk about it all the time. The greatest hitters fail 7 out of 10 times, right? A 500 pitcher, guy that pitches and wins every 1 out of every 2 games, you're going to make a lot of money in baseball if you can do that nowadays, right? So there's a ton of failure. And yet when you get out of the game and you're removed like I am, and I look back, honestly, it's hard to explain this, but if it wasn't for the failure, I wouldn't have the passion for the game that I have. I love this game because it wasn't easy. Not because it was, because it wasn't easy.
The 0-2 to Sanchez.
Think he went?
Nope.
Come on, Hunter.
A lot of strength to hold back. Safe on a fielder's choice in his first at bat. Waits on a 1-2 from Spencer Turnbull.
One of the challenging things for a young pitcher, we saw it with Matthew Boyd even, and Matthew's not young. He's getting to be almost veteran status as the senior spokesperson on this starting rotation. But is when you make 2 good pitches and then you hang one. You make that mistake over the middle. Good teams will make you pay for that. And so you've got to be able to make pitches. You make a couple good ones and you can't, in your mind, you can't think I can make it even better. Because when you try to do it even better, you usually overthrow it and it flattens out, stays in the middle.
That one right off the mask of Grayson Greiner.
I'm just a firm believer, and for kids that might be watching, listening right now, I can't tell you how important it is to learn an off-speed pitch. If you got a great arm and a good fastball, and you have ability to throw an off-speed pitch the same arm speed, it's just going to make your job so much easier.
A 2-out walk to Gary Sanchez. Hey, fans can't be home to catch the Tigers game. Just download Fox Sports Go on your mobile device and live stream Tigers games wherever you go. Never miss a game again with Fox Sports Go, made available by Oakland University. 2 outs here in the third. Here's Brett Gardner. He was the first strikeout victim for Spencer Turnbull today. There goes Sanchez. The throw from Greiner is
great throw
in time. Beautifully done. Greiner picks him at second base to squash any New York threat. Right on the money, and a nice tag by Mercer. We'll head to the bottom of the third and be joined by Craig Monroe when we return.
New York with a Ram game break, stepping in the old time machine. Our colleague Craig Monroe saw CC Sabathia over 40 times during his major league career. And these are a couple of his favorite results. A big fly to left center in 2003, and then a solo shot off CC in Cleveland in 2007. Those weren't cheapies. In fact, that last one was Simo's 100th home run of his career. There is more to the story, of course, but we'll let Craig handle that.
What else is there to that story?
Oh, I can tell you that story. He also punched me out 12 times. Thank you guys for showing
we didn't want to see that.
the positive things that happened to me for me in my career. But CC was owning all of us when he pitched here in America.
All right, I know he's different now than he was when he pitched against you, but what would you advise Tigers hitters as they get ready to face him, some of them for the first time in their career?
You have to stay on the baseball. As you're a right-hand hitter, you have to think the opposite way. He can't overpower you, but he also ain't going to give in to you. He's going to use the corners. He's going to try to expand the strike zone.
Like that?
Just like that, and that's how he now gets you out.
What's cool about watching CC is he came into the league where the top of the strike zone was the belt, and now that top of the strike zone is the letters, right? It's the way the rule book actually, and they're literally calling it that way. And there's so many more hitters now that are willing to swing up there in that zone. And boy, at 89 and 90, he's beaten guys like John Hicks, where that used to be 96 to 98.
Oh, he would just flat out overpower you. I could take you back to an at-bat with Ryan Rayburn. It was I think it was a September call-up, Jack. And Ryan Rayburn was fouling off a bunch of pitches. And CC walked halfway down to the plate and said, "Will you put the ball in play already?" And so we start chirping at it from the dugout. Me and Marcus Timms and Curtis Grannis, we were all over there like, "Get back on the mound." Just kind of, that baseball banter.
Sure.
And he ended up punching Rayburn out. And the last pitch after he struck him out, he goes, "Go sit down." And we're like, wow. I mean, you don't have to be so disrespectful to the young man. He just got here, CC.
Well, you remember how good he was when he went to Milwaukee.
Oh, man.
With the Brewers in 2008, where he went 11-2. Had 7 complete games, 3 shutouts for the Brewers. But then in 2009, came to the Yankees, and he's been there ever since. Led the league in wins in 09 and 2010 with 19 and 21 respectively. 2-2 to Gordon Beckham.
Gordon Beckham, veteran, and he knows that the ball wasn't a strike, but CC's going to get it. We're in game 2 here. A little bit of lousy weather, and the umpires are going to pretty much look at both dugouts and say everything's going to be a strike.
Gregorius on the charge. Oh, and it gets away from Ford. That allows Beckham to scamper to second.
Yeah, nice job there by Beckham. Guys, I don't know if you noticed that as soon as he hit the base, we're taught to look to your right, to see where the ball is. But take a look right here. As soon as he hits the bag, watch his head in the direction in which it turns.
Well, I'm watching Mike Ford. Did he just drop this ball? Yes.
Yes,
I don't think that should be an error on Didi. That should be an error on the first baseman.
Yeah, that's a play he's got to catch. I mean, that's a ball he's got to make that play.
I don't think they've ruled that it would be an error on Gregorius, though. It probably is on Ford. It is. Remember, the Tigers made 3 errors in game 1 of this twin bill to help the Yankees along, although they didn't need a whole lot of assistance in a 10-4 final. Does put a Tiger player in scoring position. Reyes a little late, 0-2.
And that happens too, guys, when you have that approach, or you're thinking the opposite way. You're trying to hit the ball to the right side of the diamond. You can let that fastball get a little bit too deep. So if you're feeling like that, if you're feeling like you're letting it get too deep, then you just change your sights. Then you start looking a little bit more towards center field. And that way you can be right there in the middle, so you're on time with your swing.
Foul back. The Tigers have to do some damage in this game if they're getting guys in scoring position. They went 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position in the first game of this twin bill.
Yeah, and it just seems to me that they chase, the game speeds up on these young players. And it's been happening all season long, and you're hoping that that's the next step in their development, to where they start getting better pitches to hit. And they start to trust themselves and put more pressure on the pitcher, Jack, I believe, because you guys have to make a pitch. But if we're going to go up there and we're just swinging at everything, even before it even leaves your hand, then I'm not doing myself a favor, and I'm not doing my teammates any favor at all.
And the pitcher on the mound's less liable to ever throw you anything good to hit because they know you're willing to go out of the zone.
Good take by Reyes there to make it 2-2. Reyes in the opener singled in the 8th after going 0 for his first 4. That extended his career best hitting streak to 13 straight now. Worked the count full.
Reyes has done a great job too, guys, of of getting himself back into at bats when he falls behind in the count like a 0-2, 1-2. He's smart enough to know now that he's got to trust his eyes, and he does that so well, and he's done that so well this year.
Strokes one to center. Gardner hustling hard and makes the diving grab. Where they had him played in.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting though. Nice at bat there too by Reyes. But you have to give Gardner a lot of credit. He got a great jump on this ball, and anytime a right-hand hitter hits it, it's going to run away from him. But look at the jump that he gets, and then when you get to the baseball, now it's about just athleticism. You got to dive, you got to make a play, and you also got to keep the baseball in front of you. And look at Beckham here. He's thinking, oh, that ball's going to get down. As close as he gets to the baseball, you have to get closer back to second base to where you're able to tag up. And I feel you, Ray. When you hit it like that, you want to knock.
Thought he had one there. Instead, it's 2 outs, and Harold Castro stands in.
Well, we talked about Brett Gardner and how he let that one ball fall in front of him, Brandon Dixon's base hit. And I just know that outfield grass is going to get wet, and it's probably hard to get a good jump because that first step you take, you could spin out. But he did get a good, accurate jump on that one, and willing to dive and slip on that grass.
They shifted against Harold Castro back in the first, and he tried to go the other way and grounded to third. Castro played in the series opener Tuesday night and had a 3-hit night.
I like that Gardy trusts him in this situation against CC, lefty on lefty, because he goes the opposite way so well.
Did there in Gregorius. This time Ford scoops it nicely on a low throw to end the Tigers' threat in the third.
Here's our Chevrolet's strongest player, and we're going to go back to game 1 of this series. Brett Gardner, the man you saw right there coming to the plate right now, started the game off with a home run off Edwin Jackson, a ball down and in right in his wheelhouse. You could see him opening up and just hooking it, and then he got the same pitch in his second at bat. Hit this one a little further to the left over the right field fence. So he had a good start to that first game with a pair of home runs.
And Jack, I was having a couple pops with my brother Marcus Timms, and we were talking about this Yankees team and his lineup, and I wanted to know his approach and what is he teaching these guys. And he said he tries to stay out of the way, but I know that's not true. I know that he has an approach, and he talked about having these meetings, and in their meetings he'll allow the analytics guy to talk and give the data, but then it's his time to give an approach of what he's seen on video. But after he talks about the video and what he saw and what the approach should be, he goes around the room with guys like Aaron Judge, because it's different when you're in the batter's box. You don't know, he can't tell how much sink, how much movement, the velocity, how quick it gets on you. So he allows the guys in the room that have had some at-bats against a particular pitcher to give their assessment of him, and they put together a game plan together. And I thought that was cool. I thought that's the way you handle it. Because the guys in the batter's box are going to be able to give you more information about what a pitcher's going to do or be able to do to you throughout a ball game.
Well, you're telling us, Simo, that he also will get video of a hitter that he thinks is comparable.
Yes.
And then try to get some video off the pitcher they're going to face to a guy that he would look at as, well, he's got the similar swing as you. I thought that was just a great idea.
I did
because
too.
You don't really learn a lot about a guy who's got a totally different style or approach. You've got to watch guys that are similar to yourself.
And I also like that he talked about shrinking the plate. He was talking about shrinking the plate and giving the pitcher the inside corner and the outside corner. But anything over the middle, be it fastball, breaking ball, changeup, whatever the pitch is, his guys are loading up to drive that pitch over the heart of the plate. And then when he started thinking about, guys that are comparable or similar to his players, take a look where this pitch is. With 2 strikes, a little bit different. But Gardner likes that ball on the inner half.
Oh, yeah.
So guess what? When he goes up to the batter's box, he's looking for that pitch to hit.
Gardner's to me, very predictable. Ball down and in, there's not much you're going to do with it. He's going to really, that's what he owns. But if you keep throwing it down and in there, or you try to throw it down and away, good slider, by the way, right there, and picks up his 4th strikeout. But if you start going down and away, Gardner's one of those guys who will dive out there. So what do you do then? Well, then you straighten him up with a fastball up and in, because I don't think he can handle a fastball up and in very well. It's down and in where he drops the barrel that he has a good result. Now, this is a good slider, and it goes down below the swing.
And Jack, how about high leverage situation? Do you believe that there's high leverage situations early in games just as much as they are late in the ball games?
No question. You can lose a ball game in the first pitch.
And see, that was one of the things too that Marcus was talking about his hitters. He goes, he looks at the at-bats like of guys like Sano or Soler in those high pressure situations, because those guys are similar to his guy. What is the pitcher going to try to do in those situations? Do they throw me that get me over for a breaking ball? Well, that's probably the best pitch to hit. Or do they go to their fastball? So he puts game plans together from guys that are comparable to his guys, and I think that is smart. I think that's the way. I think you should approach it.
Luke Voit flew out to center his first time up.
Just a real good conversation, just trying to pick his brain. I mean, this team is hitting bombs. And I go, are y'all trying to hit homers? You talking lunch angle? He goes, no, you know what we talk about? We talk about shrinking the strike zone, and we talk about barreling the baseball up. If I put the barrel on it, good things can happen.
Well, this is the second game that I've watched Luke Voit and how violent his swings are. And I said it in the first game, and I'll say it again. He's susceptible to a ball up and away, top of the zone, away from him, hard as you can throw it.
Like
right
that.
There. Even higher, because he'll chase. He's pulling off a little bit. He's opening up a little bit.
Turnbull recognized it. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the Yankees' 4th.
Let's take a look at the sequence there for his 5th strikeout. Throws a fastball up, couple away, one down the middle, and then he just goes away with him. Could have been a little bit higher, but he gets a good result.
Chance for a 1-2-3 inning if he can get Mike Ford.
And Jack, I'm also liking the tempo, the rhythm from Spencer Turnbull. He's not overthinking it. He's getting the baseball back. He's trusting what Griner puts down, and he's throwing the pitch. And he seems to be throwing every pitch with conviction.
Ford sends one to right center. Harold Castro made up the ground.
Good
and
inning.
The Yankees go 1-2-3 in the 4th. Here comes Detroit, led by Jeimer Candelario at 7:10. Stay after the game for the fabulous post-game fireworks show. Great seats are on sale right now. For tickets, visit tigers.com. A new catcher for New York, Kyle Higashioka, is now catching for the Yankees. Higashioka. First time we've seen him in the series against Detroit. So Gary Sanchez is out, and Candelario swings at the first pitch and hits it way foul.
I've noticed that the Tigers have been very aggressive early in counts, hunting fastballs. And Jack, I like that approach. I think a lot of times we're very patient, and we find ourselves 0-2, 1-2 in those good pitchers council where you guys can expand the strike zone and putting us on the defense. And so I like that the Tigers hitters are being aggressive. When they see a pitch that they like over the heart of the plate, why not? Go be aggressive and try to barrel it up.
Two and one to Candelario.
Now this is kind of just turning into one of those what I used to call mutter days. If the field gets wet, it's going to be one of those days where the umpire is going to let the moisture keep falling because they want to complete the game, and it's not going to be ideal conditions, and it's really kind of a battle of your will of who can eliminate these, that part of the game. Herman in the bullpen. He would take over for CC.
And to your point, if you hit a line drive, you hit a base hit to the outfield, and that ball rolls in the grass, you got to be looking to take that extra base because, you know, the ball is slippery when you pick it up. This would be one of the days where I put some pine tar on my glove, Jack, from even in the outfield. So I'd always, you know, just wear on my fingertips where I throw the baseball, just so I can make sure that I can control the baseball and throw it where I want to and be accurate.
I wonder, when you bring a catcher into a game that Sabathia might not be very familiar with, and Kyle Higashioka, how much does that affect him, if at all? Walks Candelario to start the Tigers fourth.
I'm sure a veteran pitcher like CC has had conversation with him and tells him probably right up front the things that he likes and doesn't like.
Yeah.
You know, if he's a guy that doesn't want a catcher to move much, he'll tell him that. If he wants a quick target, he'll tell him that. And then it's up to the young catcher to just adjust to the veteran pitcher.
Here's Ronnie Rodriguez, struck out swinging in the second. The first of 4 Sabathia strikeout victims.
Little surprise there, Jack, that Ronnie was going to square around a bunt.
I don't know if he was. I think Ronnie was just looking at the baseball. You never know with him. I think he just tracked it.
0-2 now to him.
But notice how CC has really changed in speeds well. I mean, that's what's made him a big leaguer all these years. 19 seasons, and, you know, he hasn't had that 96, 97, 98 mile-an-hour fastball for quite a while. But he's learned how to take something off his breaking ball.
Rodriguez
still reaches
swings
back.
out of the zone.
89 beats him upstairs, but look at how high it was.
Yeah, Jack, he also, like you said, he does change speeds, and he changes speeds so well, but he also disrupts your rhythm and your timing. There's a slide step right there, and it's a high fastball. Well, when the pitcher slide steps and jumps at us as hitters, and they throw that fastball, it forces us. It speeds us up in the batter's box, and you'll get that swing and miss on a pitch, on a fastball, out of the strike zone.
He struck out Jordy Mercer in the second as well. Now faces him with a man on and 1 down.
He's sort of quick pitch running there.
The 1-0 to left and in for a base hit. Second hit of the night for the Tigers. Jordy Mercer goes to left there. Tuesday night he went to right field and had the walk-off winner for Detroit.
Yeah, one of the more exciting ball games, and for this Detroit Tiger team to win against the Yankees at home, you know, this is certainly one of the better moments this summer. Jordy Mercer gets the walk-off. His teammate Jamer picks him up.
How about this one right there? Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, I love it.
Gatorade bath.
That was his second walk-off winner for Detroit this year, the 6th of his major league career.
And
he's been on a tear since early August.
Both of those this year too, Shep, were pitches away. Pitchers are taught not to get beat.
Dixon drives one into the left field corner. Candelario's going to score. Are they going to wave Mercer?
Yes.
Dave Clark says keep going. And he's going to score as well. And the Tigers have pulled it within 1. Brandon Dixon with a 2-run double.
Well, another first pitch hit given up by CC, and Aaron Boone is probably going to go get the big man, bring in Domingo Germán. He loves to pitch inside first pitch fastballs. That's been a pattern of CC's for his whole career. Dave Clark waving around Jordy Mercer, the trailing runner.
Last time CC Sabathia will pitch here in Detroit, he exits with his team up by a run, but responsible for the game-tying run at second base in the 4th. September 21st at Ciation weekend. First 10,000 fans receive the very popular print all over shirt. Great seats are on sale right now. All you got to do is go to tigers.com. New pitcher for the Yankees in a wall-side windows pitching change. Domingo Germán, 17 wins, are second in the American League, only to Justin Verlander.
Well, this kid came out of the box in spring training and rattled off, what, 12 straight W's or something? It was just incredible, the kind of start that he got off to.
Well, this offseason, he retooled his delivery to where he could command the strike zone, a lot better. And for him, that's been the biggest difference. He now has confidence to throw all of his pitches in any count, and he tries to put the hitter on the defense.
Facing Grayson Greiner to start.
And Greiner swung the bat really well since coming off the DL.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because he told me the other day that before the injury he was doing a double toe tap.
Yes.
And he opened up his left hip too soon. Now it's a little bit smaller leg kick, and it allows him to square up and use the middle of the field a little bit better.
That's exactly what you want to do. I mean, that's a recipe for success for a right-handed hitter. The minute we start to open up Shep too soon, we've lost the outer half. We're not receptible to the breaking balls and the changeup, the off-speed pitches. But if we stay square to the plate and we keep our hands back and allow our direction to go exactly where it's going, right through the middle, it gives us the best chance to be able to stay on the baseball and drive it to the big part of the field. That would be left center, right center. But also puts us in a position to hit off-speed pitches as well.
Torres retires him for the second out of the inning. Dixon moves up to third, and John Hicks will be in charge of getting him home.
Now Grayson tried to shoot the ball between first baseman and second baseman there, but was hit more towards Torres at second base.
I don't think Sabathia is nervous. That's not why he's biting his nails. Hicks sprays one to deep right. Judge going way back, and Judge makes the catch before running into the wall. Woo! Might have hurt himself, but he saved a run. Look at this one. Into the webbing, and then greets the wall here at Comerica Park. But he keeps it a 3-2 Yankees lead through 4. Shape of things to come, upcoming game schedule. 4 with Baltimore when the Orioles hit town later on tonight, and it starts tomorrow with Tigers live at 6:30. Then a 3-game trip to Cleveland before the White Sox and Twins close out the home portion of the Tigers 2019 schedule, and we'll close out the year on the road in Chicago. Tyler Wade leads off the 5th against Spencer Turnbull, and then it'll be DJ LeMahieu and Aaron Judge scheduled. Wade sprays one to left center. Nobody is there. And that's going to go over the wall and into the seats off the bounce. So a ground rule double for Tyler Wade.
The way that Tyler Wade was running, it might have caught a break there by bouncing over the fence. He might have been standing on third. Ball hits the warning track and takes a hop over the fence out in the bullpen.
He recognized that breaking ball too, Jack. You see how he stayed back, kept his hands back, and drove that ball to left center.
Second hit of the series for Wade. Both are extra base hits. A triple Tuesday night, a double here to lead off the Yankee 5th.
This is an inning where Ron Gardenhire would really, really love to see Spencer Turnbull bear down and get through. His team just gave him 2 runs, got back into this ball game. It's a 1-run game. He doesn't have anybody warming up in the pen, so he's sending him the message like, you got this, kid, and giving him the confidence that he needs. Now, if Spencer can somehow navigate through this top part of the lineup and get out of this inning without giving up a run, I think he would probably look at Spencer's outing and be very, very happy with it.
I would say so, Jack. And I was thinking that same thing. I thought, man, this is a big inning for Spencer here to come back after the boys put up a couple runs to get back into this ball game. You really want your pitcher to put up a 0.
He's got a pretty good breaking ball today. He's kept it down for the most part. LeMahieu had trouble with that pitch in game 1 today.
And Jack, doesn't it seem like he has a little bit more trust in his stuff today than we've seen?
Well, we're seeing a lot more strikes, we can tell you that. He's given up some hard hit balls and fastballs, but he's not letting it bother him too much.
Well,
48 of his 78 pitches have been strikes. 48 to 78.
Well, I had a conversation with him just a couple of days ago in the clubhouse, and that's something that he's working on. He says, I can't try to be perfect all the time, and I can't let giving up a hit really get me off my game, pretty much take him out of the game. He's got to stay focused on every pitch.
The 2-2 fought off. LeMahieu singled and scored in the first. Drove in a run with a double in the second.
And Shep, Marcus loves this kid here. I mean, what not to like about him? But he talks about how his bat gets on plane and how it stays in the zone for a long period of time. He's on plane right now, and that's just timing. He got it a little bit deeper. But if it catches that ball out front, he's still in a position to be able to barrel it up. And that's why he's got these gaudy numbers, 325 with 24 home runs.
Well, the 24 homers are a career high for him. With a couple of hits today, he's got 56 multi-hit games, second most in the majors. Here's the 2-2. Chased out of the zone.
Huge out right there, folks. I'm not sure he wanted to throw it up that high, but it worked. LeMahieu was in swing mode.
Time for StatCast AI, powered by AWS. Aaron Judge. Big fly in the first, a 2-run shot, his 22nd of the season. It's also his first homer at Comerica Park. Now just one ballpark where Aaron Judge has failed to hit a home run in the American League. It's Minnesota. Target Field is the only place where Judge has yet to homer. In the National League, there's 3 ballparks: Cincinnati, Washington, and Wrigley Field.
They're all very capable ballparks for him to hit it out in any part of the park. They're not huge ballparks.
Yeah. Pulled the string. 0-2 to Judge.
That was a good pitch. And Spencer's feeling a little bit better. I can tell he's using all of his pitches now. Feeling more comfortable out there. This is a slider. Just takes a little bit off. Judge way out in front of it.
And Judge is one of the few guys that looks for off-speed pitches. He likes to sit on breaking balls.
Sits him down.
Wow.
7 punch-outs for Spencer Turnbull tonight.
Well, we're seeing a different look from Spencer. He goes right back to the slider and he locates it down and away. Takes away or works off the aggression of Aaron Judge. And he puts it in a good spot. You know, what we're seeing so different is only 1 walk in this ball game. 7 strikeouts and only 1 walk.
Right.
And that's kind of the complete opposite of what he had his last outing.
Walked 3 against Oakland last time out in just 1 2/3. So it's a different feel for Spencer Turnbull. And as he told you just the other day, the confidence is something he's got to build upon, but it sure looks like he has it tonight. Why is that, do you think?
I think it started in the first inning. He didn't let LeMahieu and Aaron Judge's home run get to him. That's what rattled his cage the last few outings. And, you know, I think he's hearing Ron Gardenhire's voice in his ear saying, don't let it bother you. Just go out there and throw the ball to the target. Don't worry about thinking about what pitch to throw, whether it's a perfect pitch. Do the best you can with what we call and hit the glove.
He's
Keep
not
it
overthinking.
simple.
He's not overthinking. He's staying on the attack.
Being aggressive.
How challenging is that, though? To not overthink, because this is a thinking man's game,
and it's your
especially
career.
especially for a pitcher, right?
Yeah.
You know, because we're taught read the hitter. All right, what's the hitter trying to do off you? Well, you got to counter that. So you're thinking, but I think what Gardy was really trying to say is, look there's times where all 3 pitches that he calls are going to work if you locate. I remember Mark Burley, one of my. You know, I love this kid. I followed him all in 2013 in Toronto, and we had the biggest conversation. I totally disagreed with his philosophy. His philosophy was, I've never called a pitch in my career because location is more important than selection. And I looked at him, I said, yeah, well, what about the guy that only can hit 1 pitch? Why would you ever throw it? He says, I trust my catcher and I never call that, right? So Burley's idea was, look, I'm just going to hit the glove, and I'm not going to have to think.
Gregorius jams one to left, and it bounces by the left fielder, Brandon Dixon. Gregorius is going to keep running all the way to third. Yankees get a run back. 4-2 New York.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there. Brandon was trying to save a run there, and he got kind of a little bit of a late jump. Ball was dying. Simo, you know what those are like out there in left.
Yeah, he got a little bit too close to it. I mean, you got to make up your mind right now. If you're going to dive, you're going to lay out, you got to lay out. You've got to just take off and take your chances. Now, if you're not going to lay out here, if you're Brandon Dixon, you have to keep that baseball. You have to keep that ball in front of you.
They've scored it an RBI single and an error on Brandon Dixon in left. Now the ever dangerous Gleyber Torres.
Well, Spencer pretty much did everything he could there. He got a weak hit ball to the left field. You know, the play wasn't made. Another earned run is going to be recorded. But here's another case where you just got to put that behind you. It's challenging for him, but he's still in this ball game, right? And so get Torres out, get back in the dugout, and look at the game like, you know what, it was a step in the right direction. Nobody feels worse than Brandon Dixon.
Oh, there's no question.
Torres singled in the first, struck out swinging in the third. Here's the 0-2. Held up.
Still got the gas upstairs.
That one popped the glove at 95. But he's also thrown, as you can see there, 91 pitches.
Yeah, there's some activity. I think it's Nick Ramirez getting loose into Tiger Pen now. This will be it for Spencer, but finish strong.
Missed outside 2-2.
That was a fastball, but you saw it cut. It just absolutely exploded away.
Here comes the 2-2. Swung on and missed.
Good job.
Nice way to finish it for Spencer Turnbull. Through 5. Well, 4.5 here, but Turnbull through 5. Craig Monroe, thanks for your analysis, my friend. We appreciate it as always. We'll see you on Tigers Live postgame as the Tigers come to bat in the 5th. Down tours for tires, auto service, and repairs. And by the all-new Chevy Silverado, the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Always like to reward the men and women of service. And a pat on the back, well deserved. 4-2 Yankees lead in game 2 of this twin bill, and trying to even up the season series with the Tigers. Bottom of the 5th, Gordon Beckham, Victor Reyes, and Harold Castro.
Well, they got to keep grinding away, like Kirk Gibson said in game 1. It's not just grinding. They've got to have productive at-bats and try to get some runners on base. Put a little pressure on Domingo Germán. He recorded 2 quick outs coming in relief there in the 4th inning for CC Sabathia.
Gordon Beckham was safe on an error back in the 3rd. 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for New York. 2 runs, 3 hits, and an error for Detroit. Checked it. Foul tipped it away to make it 0-2. Beckham, a .306 hitter in his career against the Yankees. Granted time.
Gordon's got a tough role, especially here in September with all the call-ups. He's been sitting for quite a while. And to have any kind of consistency when you don't get to play on a regular basis, really a challenging job. But he's a pro's pro. He's not complaining. He's happy to be a part of this. And he's going to be up there battling.
Strikes out to start the 5th. First punch out for Domingo Germán, who came in relief of CC Sabathia. Menards brings you the big money encounter. You see how effective his 4-seamer and his 2-seam fastball have been from starter to reliever.
Yeah, a little kick and velocity. That's typical of what you see out of guys that know that they're only in there for an inning or 2. They just sort of have the ability to crank it up a little bit more.
Reyes flares it to the left, and that's going to be a foul ball. It's the 26th appearance for Germán. He has 24 starts. One, make it 1-2.
Good changeup right there. Guy throws 95 with his fastball, and then he drops that changeup with the same arm speed at 88. Saw Victor Reyes way out in front there. Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch for Domingo Germán. See, he touches 95 was the last pitch, and 84 is his low.
Another foul by Victor Reyes. It's always amazed me how guys like this, with this build, this physique, can bring it as fast as he does. 6'2", 175. And 175 probably soaking wet.
Yeah, he's not all muscular yet, but you know, it's all about your flexibility, and I call it wiry strong.
Yeah. Outside, 3-2 to Victor Reyes. Grounded to second in the 1st, flew out to center in the 3rd. Strikes him out. Back-to-back punch-outs for Germán to start the 5th, both of them looking.
Four-seam fastball, it just kind of goes up and away. Victor thought it was high.
With 2 away, here's Harold Castro. Tuesday night, Castro went 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored. And there's his 4th hit of the series. A 2-out single to left center. Does have a pretty swing, doesn't he?
Yeah, when he squares it up, ball seems to jump off his bat, and that's all because he's got his hands, barrel of the bat in the right spot. He greets the ball out in front of the plate where his optimal bat speed is. But yeah, this is a simple swing right there. Just a lot of the upper body, but barreled it up.
Now Jeimer Candelario will bat from the left side. He walked and scored in the 4th. He and Jordy Mercer trotting home on Brandon Dixon's 2-run double Tigers had pulled to within 1 before New York bounced back and got 1 in the 5th to make it a 4-2 score now. Off speed in there for strike 1.
Take a big fly here, Shep. Jamer due for hooking one right there by the Bell Tire sign in right field.
Take it. 7 homers on the year for Candelario. Caught the inside corner. Didn't like it. It's 0-2. 6 of the 7 homers for Candelario against right-handed pitchers. So from his left side. Trying to square it up and waiting on an 0-2.
Change up coming.
Got him way out in front. Herman strikes out the side. Tigers leave 1. They trail by 2 as we head to the 6th.
And game break, White Sox pitcher Lucas Giolito set a new franchise record by striking out every Royal hitter he faced in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings today. He continued to cruise through the game from there and ended up setting a new club record with consecutive Ks as a White Sox, passing the record of 7 straight, shared by Carlos Rondon, who did it in 2016, and Joe Cowley, who accomplished the feat in 1986. Not a bad afternoon for Lucas Giolito, guys.
Mick, he was tied with Matthew Boyd going into play today in strikeouts in the American League for 4th with 228. Garrett Cole leads the way, then Justin Verlander, and then Shane Bieber. We head to the 6th, and we welcome in our friend Dan Petrie to the broadcast booth. Nick Ramirez taking over in a wall-side windows pitching change. First things first, your impressions of Spencer Turnbull, who looked pretty good through 5.
Yeah, you know what? I was anxious to get in here just to talk to Jack about it. I thought Spencer had a really good slider today and was locating it well. And I wanted to see, to me, it looked like his stride toward the plate was allowing him to get over it to the position to hit it on the outside part of the plate to right-handers. And he also struck out Gardner with a real good one, so the left-hander, it just seemed like he was able to get through it all the way rather than kind of spinning him over the center of the plate. And I thought that was really good. And also, he was throwing some elevated fastballs, too, when he was getting them, you know, used to that slider. All of a sudden, like he struck LeMahieu out with 1-2. So those are the things that I kind of noticed immediately from Spencer. I don't know what your thoughts were, but I couldn't wait to get in here to see what you thought.
Well, Nick Ramirez is our wall-side windows pitching change. Yeah, Danny, I think you really hit on something that was really spot on, and that was Spencer wasn't flying open today. He didn't have hardly any pitches where the ball just took off because he had the front side go. He was keeping that shoulder in there a little bit longer, and like you tried to describe it, it's just that plane right towards the catcher's glove.
Very encouraging. Kyle Higashioka strikes out to start the 6th.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch for Spencer Turnbull tonight. You saw what Danny was just describing, some breaking balls early. There's a good hammerjack right there. And threw a couple good ones to Gardner. Had the fastball up in the zone, elevated there to LeMahieu. And for overall, I thought he was really battling. His mindset was a lot different today. He wasn't giving up and stayed in this ball game.
I'm sure Brett Gardner's glad he's gone because Turnbull struck out Gardner twice, swinging. 1 in the 1st and 1 in the 4th.
You know, you're talking about it, you know, not Spencer not flying open and everything. And how many times did you see him when he did fly open and he hit a right-hander in the ribs, you know, because there's no way his arm could get through it and finish it off, and it would just tail right up and in on him, or way up and away from a left-hander. So
I really like what I'm seeing right now. Matthew Boyd is talking to him. Sometimes, Danny, you know, pitching coaches are wonderful. I know Rick Anderson has done everything in the world to try to help Spencer, and he still will. That's his job. And he will do it with a smile because he loves and has a passion for helping guys like him right now. But to be able to go to a teammate who really knows you almost as well, right? To have that kind of conversation that Matthew Boyd and Spencer are having right now, to listen to him, sometimes you can really see things sometimes that the pitching coach can't.
You know, and there's so many different ways of saying the same thing also, you know.
Sure.
But what one of those things clicks in somebody's mind. Hey, make an X. Hey, forward and across.
Sure.
All those different things. And then somebody says it a little bit different. Oh, that's what they mean by all of that.
Right.
And it just starts to register.
Well, it's a big reason why you both were hoping that Matthew Boyd would remain a Tiger near the trade deadline. The things that he can provide for some of the other younger players while still performing at a high level himself.
Well, they help each other. And they, let's face it, we all know when you're in the trenches all year long, you know when things are going well, you know when things aren't. And I just know that Matthew, he's left-handed. How much can he help a right-hander, right?
Yeah.
But it's about the mindset of being aggressive. It's the mindset of trying to throw strikes, flying open. All those things apply to both sides of the mound.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean just because you have a left-hander that was your pitching coach, and I'm a right-hander, he can't be my pitching coach because he's left-handed. That's for the third time there.
Rough night for Gardner. 2 outs for Ramirez here in the 6th. He strikes out Higashioka and Gardner in back-to-back at-bats. And here's Luke Voit, who in game 1 pounded one to deep center field off Matthew Boyd. A 2-run homer in the first. Look where that landed. Oof. That is country strong, isn't it?
Especially on a day that's very damp like today, that ball went a long way. I'm not sure Matthew Boyd was more upset with the pitch or just was talking to himself about how far it went.
As we mentioned, his 20th homer of the season. So 8 players now with 20 homers or more for New York. 8. That's gaudy.
You're talking about just, the game's 4-2. Spencer Turnbull did a nice job keeping them close. And now Nick Ramirez comes in and gives them a completely different look from the other side. Different stuff altogether. Has that real good changeup, and it's tough for the Yankees. The same thing that the Tiger hitters are going through with CC Sabathia starting, and all of a sudden you flip them around and throw a completely different, pitcher out there in Herman that has a different set of skills altogether too.
3-1 to Voit. Tigers pitching has at least 1 strikeout in every inning so far tonight. Oh, that was wicked.
That's what we've been looking for all night, though, from a right-hander, right, Danny? We're talking about how this guy's susceptible away, down and away, and up and away with a heater. Down and away with an off-speed pitch.
In a fastball count. That's why it was such a good one, too.
Oh, just missed outside. We showed you Voigt's big bomb to center. How about 2017? This is the longest home run hit in Comerica Park history. Gary Sanchez on August 22nd hit it 493 feet.
Matthew Boyd.
Yeah, it's off Matthew Boyd. And we've seen, J.D. Martinez wallop one. We've seen Miguel Cabrera earlier this year. We saw Nelson Cruz. And that one by Voit in game 1 was pretty special. Sanchez, by the way, started this game for New York. Left with a tightness in his left groin. That's why Kyle Higashioka is in catching for New York.
Jack, I think I remember, you saying you'd rather give up a bomb like that than one that just scrapes the,
Makes you feel good. At least you feel like you supplied a little bit of the energy.
I'll never forget. You remember the one in Milwaukee?
Hit him far. What the heck? Fans
Cecil
love him.
Cooper. You remember the one Cecil Cooper hit in Milwaukee? It was about 5 feet foul on the left field line.
Yeah.
And they called it a home run off of you.
I
Remember
know.
that one?
Oh,
I'll never forget that one.
I went crazy.
Oh.
It's like, come on, you guys.
It's 2-1 to Mike Ford. Did you subscribe to that feeling, Peaches? I mean,
I was opposite.
if somebody hits a bomb that is a no-doubter, you're okay with that?
It hurt me.
Why?
I don't know. It hurt me.
You put smiles on fans. We're in the entertainment business.
I said, man, I must really be bad. They can hit it that far. Oh, my gosh.
2-2 to Mike Ford. Ford singled and scored in the second, flew out to center in the fourth. Grounds it foul Have you guys ever talked to some players today and how they feel about that type of mindset? I don't mind if it goes way out of here, but if it barely gets by, it really upsets me.
No, but what the heck? You got something you given me an idea of. Now I got something new to talk to him about.
I just thinking, I talk.
You know, how do you go about that though, Shep? Hey, Spence, would you rather give up a 500-footer or a 329?
Matthew, we were showing some highlights the other day. How'd you hold that one?
On the ground to Beckham. Well, I know they're in the entertainment business. You guys are entertaining, that's for certain. We played 5.5, and Detroit's down a pair. Kneecap puts him on the shelf for the Brewers for the rest of the season. That guy is worth the price of admission. What he was doing this year, pretty special, especially after winning the most valuable player a year ago. Rodriguez pops it up. Higashioka has it, and there's one away. And then you see Jesus Luzardo made his major league debut for the A's, becoming the first in his country to reach the major leagues.
If I'm not mistaken, I thought I read where Luzardo went to Parkland High School in Florida that got shot up.
Oh, really?
And that was one big driving force of him. He wanted to be the first major league pitcher or first major leaguer from his high school, and it was a big driving force for him to finally make it.
And first Peruvian. Here's Jordy Mercer with one away. He singled and scored his last time up. In there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Boy, the A's are going toe-to-toe with the Astros, though, aren't they? I mean, that's an Oakland team. We just saw them, obviously, where they took 2 out of 3 from the Tigers. But that's a team that is making a strong bid for the wild card in the American League. Mercer strikes out for the second time tonight. Next time you visit Comerica Park, stay after the game for the all-new post-game happy hour on the Pepsi porch every Thursday through Saturday. Home game, enjoy $5 Miller Lite, Coors Light, and specialty cocktails on the Pepsi porch. For information, visit tigers.com/value. With 2 away, here's Brandon Dixon. Good offensive night for Dixon tonight. That included the 2-run double in the 4th.
Yeah, it's good to see too, Shep, because there have been times where he's been struggling a little bit. Not too long ago, he had a 4 strikeout game, so it's good anytime when Jack was talking about Gordon Beckham, having, some time in between starts and everything, and it's hard to keep your rhythm. So this is good for him to sit down a little bit and then come up with a couple of big hits.
Pokes it to center, but Gardner is there. The Tigers go 1-2-3 for the second time tonight. On this day, USAA honors those who have served in all of our service members at home and abroad. We remember you for your bravery, your unselfishness, and we thank you for all that you do and your commitment. Tyler Wade, you and Aaron Judge to face Ramirez here in the 7th. A drag bunt and a beauty. No play.
Perfectly placed bunt right there because the left-hander's falling off a little bit towards third. Once it gets by Ramirez, no play for Beckham. You saw Hicks going way over, and quite honestly, it's going to be a race to the base between Ramirez and Wade. Wade easily breaks and wins the race.
And I think it's a surprise too.
Yep.
You're not thinking that's not the first thing that you're thinking about when you walk out to start an inning. Hey, the first pitch I come up with right here, he's going to bunt. But you're exactly right. Ramirez fell off to the third base side, and he drug it with him to the second base, and just an easy, wonderful play, really, by Tyler Wade.
Not against a team that has 279 homers on the year. Right?
Well, that's the thing. The number 9 hitter. Now you're coming up to the big boys.
LeMahieu's got 24 of them and 92 runs driven in.
I think he's going to have to keep him DJ honest inside here. You know, DJ, we've been talking about it all, both games, about how he goes to right field so well, and he has this game. And it's just a matter of you better, you know, you can get away with that changeup if it's a good one, but you got to keep him honest inside.
There was some speculation in Denver that Colorado was going to pay Nolan Arenado and Charlie Blackmon, and they just didn't have enough money to pay this guy DJ LeMahieu, even though he was an MVP and candidate and was a batting title winner and a Gold Glover.
He had other offers also, you know, and I got to talking to him on Tuesday as I, you know, used to coach him when he was growing up and right before high school, and I talked to his dad a little bit, and yeah, there was other offers on the table, but just the fact that, you know, New York was the right fit for him, and he's going after trying to get a world championship to put on his resume.
Got a pretty good shot with this club, don't you think?
You need one of those to get into broadcasting. You know, to be an analyst.
Need one of those rings?
Yeah, it helps us. Right, Danny?
That's the only reason I'm here. I forgot my ring today, too. I wear it every day.
I was just going to bring that up. I do not see.
You forgot your D, too, Tiger Dan.
Well, I brought the other one that we had yesterday. I thought we were going to wear that one, yeah, just for the moment of silence. Yeah, the Never Forget pen. Yeah. I'm going to have a different ring on tomorrow, Shep. Yeah.
Are you?
I am.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You're going to have a state championship ring.
That's right.
They pay big money for that. Orchard Lake St. Mary's bound to pay big money for that. Foul tipped into the glove of Grayson Griner. LeMahieu strikes out for the second time tonight, and there's one away. Well, speaking of high school, you went to high school out west at beautiful El Dorado High School, home of the Golden Hawks. And you've got a connection to some Yankees here through that.
Yeah, it's out in Placentia, California, sleepy little town, or at least it used to be when I was growing up. But Phil Nevin, the third base coach there and former Tiger, he was back here in 95, 96, 97, had a nice career, hit over 200 home runs and had over 1,000 hits in the big leagues. And Brett Boone, who's Aaron's brother, also had a real nice major league career. Aaron went to Villa Park, which is another, school in Orange County, just not too far from El Dorado. But that's when, Bob Boone, their father, I got to pitch to him with the Angels. You know, he was a catcher, and when he was with the Angels, he lived in that area, and that's where they all went to school.
Number 14 on that wall, huh?
Yeah, Pete Rose.
Is that why you wore it?
No, they just gave it to me. Okay. I was kind of tall.
You could have gone with that story. We would have believed you.
No, I was kind of tall, and it's one of those bigger uniforms. 1 was the smallest and 14 was the biggest. The only reason I got it.
Gotcha. Low to Judge to make it 3-1. It's a big number. John Schreiber wears number 71, warming up. Judge struck out swinging his last time up. Swings through that to make it 3-2. Nick Ramirez's changeup working well tonight, guys?
I was going to say that, I'm just going to say that about, you strike out DJ LeMahieu, make Aaron Judge look bad on pitches like that. I mean, that's saying something. I mean, these are really, really good hitters, and to make them swing like that, something's working. Throw it again, I think. Yep.
Lost him.
You see Jack right before that pitch. Saw Grayson Griner shake his head. Yeah, shake his head, trying to get Nick Ramirez. He didn't give a sign. He just said, shake your head, thinking that, okay, no, I'm not going to shake it. I'm going to go to something else. And just to kind of confuse, Aaron Judge a little bit with that. Get him thinking, oh, I'm shaking off the changeup. Yes, he shaking his head. Nick Ramirez not even giving a sign, just shake your head. Just to plant another, matter of doubt into Aaron Judge's head, and then he comes back with the 3-2 change and just misses. Couldn't quite get him to tempt. Need to be a little bit closer to the plate.
Would you do that more frequently when there's a runner at second, do you think, guys? From a catcher standpoint.
Just base runners, period, Shep. It's one of those deals. Turn it.
Beckham shovels it. Mercer's turn in time. Nice way to close out the 7th, the 113th double play of the Tigers season. Couple of vets hooking up. Beckham to Mercer, and we'll stretch at Comerica Park. Brought to you by Consumers Energy. Sports Detroit special ticket packages include a game ticket, a University of Michigan themed Tigers cap, and a donation to the Pat Malloy Scholarship Fund. For tickets, visit tigers.com/U of M. Low scoring affair here in the nightcap. Tigers bat in the 7th. Grayson Greiner, John Hicks, and Gordon Beckham. The first game went to New York 10-4, 21 hits combined. Tuesday night series opener had 27 hits combined and 23 runs in a Tigers victory. Greiner sends one fouled on the third base line. Struck out looking in the 2nd and grounded to 2nd in the 4th.
You know, Herman's got nice fastball. That's what I keep reading about and hearing. But his secondary pitches have been pretty.
His changeup is really good.
You bet. And I thought his slider or slurve, whatever you want to call curveball, has been very sharp and well located too. I know they're being a little careful with his innings, especially leading into the postseason.
Hot shot to third. LeMahieu gobbles it up.
They were talking about CC Sabathia, what his role might be in the postseason, about, he might accept a bullpen position, just saying, I know at this stage of my career, that maybe it's better for me to come out of the bullpen and give you, 2, 3, 4 innings, something like that, rather than just go, especially with his balky knee and where he is in his career, will he be able to go deep into a game?
Well, you would guess that it would be Herman and Happ, James Paxton for sure, to start for New York
Tanaka
in the postseason, and Tanaka. So it'd be those 4 guys right now. Who you want to start game 1 is really up to you guys individually, and not sure who Aaron Bone would tap on the shoulder now, but
probably Paxton. That's what Aaron was saying. He's really been pitching well. Happ has been pitching well,
yeah.
Although I think he was a little disgusted with how he let him get back into the game in the game 1 and went out and got him. And I'm not sure that really set well with Jay Happ either, because you're 4 2/3 and you need an out to get a W. So, those are things that managers and pitchers don't see eye to eye on.
We do talk about the Yankees bullpen an awful lot, though, and it's loaded, but their starters are very respectable. 0-2 to Hicks, just outside and low.
That's one of the questions I asked Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, was, do you think your pitching staff gets a little shortchanged? Everybody talks about your offense and how many home runs you hit. And his response was a good one. It was, I'd rather have it that way. I'd rather sneak up on people.
Hicks strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. There's 2 quick outs in the Tigers' 7th. Let's update pick to stick. Not many points out there to be had here in the nightcap. Mickey and Dan each on the positive side of the ledger. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
I was until Jordy Mercer struck out last time up in the 6th.
We're running out of time here. We might get one more at bat.
Here's Gordon Beckham. Not many points in game 1 either, were there? Beckham struck out looking in the 5th, safe on an error in the 3rd. Broken bat looper, and it will be gloved by Mike Ford. Tigers go 1-2-3. Dan Petrie, thanks as always. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow against Baltimore, but more importantly on Tigers Live postgame with Mickey York right after this.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, you got it, buddy.
Comerica Bank game summary. Aaron Judge got it started early for the Yankees, a 2-run homer way back in the 1st inning, and then Brandon Dixon off of CC Sabathia doubles, puts 2 on the board for the Tigers, and this really was the game difference maker right there. Brandon Dixon tries to catch a 2-out fly ball hit by Didi Gregorius, and 2-run score. Difference in the game right now is that ball that wasn't kept in front. Wallside Windows pitching change. Buck Farmer in for the 66th time this year.
He'll face Gleyber Torres, and then the backup catcher Kyle Higashioka, and then Brett Gardner. Swing and a miss by Torres. He hold up? He did not. He went. Torres 0 for 2 with a punch out in his career against Buck Farmer. Now the 1-2. Foul back. Tigers baseball is always live with MLB at Bat. Follow the action with game tracking and video highlights, along with up-to-the-moment stats, standings, breaking news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. It's your #1 app for Tigers baseball. Now the 1-2. Another one fouled back. The 66 appearances for Buck Farmer are 5th most in the American League.
He's been a workhorse. Gardy trusts him late in the game to try to keep the game close, to shut down big innings that get out of hand. He used him a lot that way earlier, but he's kind of climbed the proverbial corporate ladder out there in the pen, and now he's asked to keep this game in check, hoping that they could possibly score 2 more runs to tie it, and then go from there.
2 A's lead the way in the American League. Yusmeiro Petit has the most appearances, and then Jake Diekman is number 2. Strikes out Torres to start the 8th. With the Tigers minor league season over, we were able to catch up with some of the minor league award winners, the co-players of the year, Isaac Paredes and Willie Castro, both outstanding seasons, and Matt Manning, the pitcher of the year, also the pitcher of the year in the AA level, the Eastern League. On the ground, and a late weird hop on Candelario. Handled it nicely, though, for the second out.
Yeah, this ball might have skipped too. The wet grass not only in the outfield but in the infield with all this moisture today. You see, it kind of takes off there. Actually, that was on the dirt, but Candy stays with it and then makes a nice throw across the diamond. A lot of times it's about footwork, right? You got to get the ball first, catch it first, and then that little crow hop, make a nice throw.
Brett Gardner takes strike 1. Gardner, remember, had the 2 homers on Tuesday night. His first 2-homer game of the season, 8th of his career. He has struck out all 3 at-bats so far here tonight. Yankees lineup so potent. Only went 1-2-3 twice on Tuesday night. Once earlier today in game 1 of this doubleheader, and once so far here tonight. 1-2 to Gardner.
Well, with 2 strikes, they still stay shifted on the right side to Gardner. Now Jordy's going to move back over and get on the other side of second base. Take a look at the spray chart. You understand why they had him shifted. Right now, Beckham kind of right in the hot zone. That spray chart is indicating ground balls on the infield. It's not fly balls.
Here's the 2-2. Got him. Tough night. Continues to get rougher for Brett Gardner thanks to Buck Farmer. Tigers top of their order. Will hit in the 8th. Down 2. Seven straight Tigers batters have been retired by Domingo Germán. Victor Reyes tries to snap out of that funk and get his hitting streak to 14 straight games. He's 0 for 3 tonight, leads off the Tigers' 8th, followed by Harold Castro and then Jeimer Candelario.
Yeah, Germán has set down 5 Tigers via the strikeout, no walks in 3+ innings of work so far.
Reyes skies one to left center, forcing Gardner over, and Tyler Wade calls him off, and the left fielder makes the first out. Here's the upcoming pitching matchup presented by Wallside Windows. As Baltimore comes to town for the first of 4, Zimmerman, Norris, Jackson, and then Tyler Alexander on Monday against John Means. John Means just might be in the conversation, Jack, for American League Rookie of the Year. Might be a stretch, but at 10-10, he's been dynamite for Baltimore. Really impressed.
Yeah, for a team that has lost, well, coming into today's game, Baltimore
a lot.
That lost 98 ball games. We kind of know what that feels like.
Yeah, and getting them 4 times, and a lot will be made of, you know, the draft pick situation between Detroit and Baltimore. Harold Castro making a bid for his second hit. What a play, even though Castro beats it out. Gleyber Torres with wide range there to make it interesting.
Yeah, on the slippery grass, there's no way he was going to be able to get his feet underneath him as he was sliding. He couldn't. You see that ball squirting as it's going through there, and he just turns. We knew that we were going to see some divots and some spin outs there. That was one of them.
Boy, if he could have gotten up as he tries to get up here, he just, you know, you can't plant your foot there because of the slippery
Throws
surface.
it anyway.
Yeah.
Lucky he didn't get hurt, actually.
So a couple of hits for Harold Castro tonight, and Candelario yanks one deep but foul.
Oh man, how sweet would that be? We asked for it last at bat.
We'll keep asking. Tigers haven't had a whole lot of opportunities to put guys in motion.
Just 2 hits off of Germán, and Harold Castro has them both.
That hit him.
Oh, that got his ribs. That's going to hurt. You're completely stretched out. You lift your arms up. You're trying to duck out of the way, and it catches you right in the side of the ribs. Slider that's pulling right in on you. It probably stings more than it actually hurts, but it catches you in the rib cage. By the time Gardy gets down there, Doug Teeter's going to probably either made a decision already.
When was it? Were we in Oakland when Doug Teeter and Gardy went out there and They both started to jog back. There you go, right on cue, Jackie. By the time Gardy got out there, and Gardy said it was a race to get back to the dugout. He kept saying, "I'm going to beat you, big fella." He keeps it light, doesn't he? Kristen Stewart is going to pinch hit for Ronnie Rodriguez, but not before Kyle Higashioka wants to go out and talk with Domingo Germán, and so does Aaron Boone. He's going to make a pitching change here in the 8th. Tigers with a couple of men on, 1 out and down just 2. See if they can muster up a comeback here on Fox Sports Detroit. Expectations of what a bank can be come to Comerica. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Had some rain earlier this morning. Had a lot of it yesterday. It's continued to mist throughout the evening as well. But we have watched the Tigers and Yankees slug their way through. A Wallside Windows pitching change. Tommy Kahnle is in for the, like Buck Farmer, the 66th time this year. Only 3 Tigers hitters have ever faced Kahnle. Kristen Stewart is a novice against him. It'll be his first meeting with a man on, or a man out, I should say, and 2 men on.
Another power pitcher for the Yankees, and Aaron Boone really has appreciated what he's done as of late. Change up first pitch there. They're trying to get the ball to Aroldis Chapman in the 9th here with a lead. Tigers trying to tie this game first.
1-0 to Stewart is low and inside. Kahnle struggled a year ago mightily. Had an ERA of well over 6.5. Had poor command. Battled some shoulder injuries. Might have lost a little bit. Said in the offseason, I know I struggled last year. He lost some weight, got in better shape, and his numbers are much more encouraging for Yankees fans. The 2-0 ripped right at second base, and that is a double play. Harold Castro ventured off too far, even though Kristen Stewart hit it right on the nose. Gleyber Torres quickly ended the inning.
Welcome back to Comerica Park. Dan Petrie and Mickey York digging in for a post-game edition of Tigers Live. Tigers hanging around here as they go to the 9th at Comerica. How much of that can be traced back to Spencer Turnbull's start tonight?
You got to like what Spencer Turnbull turned in today. You know, he could have got down, gave up a couple runs early, but we'll show you what made him so successful and encouraging for starts going forward right after the game, and hopefully the Tigers will come back. They got one more shot at him.
Yeah, Craig Monroe heading into the clubhouse to get the Tigers and Ron Gardenhire's reaction to a long day at the ballpark, and hopefully talking to the guy that provides the walk-off win here in the bottom of the 9th. Shep, Jack, let's play 3.
I'm okay with that as long as the Tigers come out on top and win this season series. Jack Morris is ready for it too, right?
Shorten up, go to right.
Shorten up, go to right. Gregory Soto's on. Another one of those guys you've been encouraged with, especially recently with the stuff that he possesses. How's he gotten better this year, do you think?
I think the move to the bullpen was really a godsend for Gregory. He's been able to just kind of eliminate his third pitch. He's basically a fastball, breaking ball pitcher. Doesn't really have developed a changeup yet, anything off speed. But he was a guy that got a lot of opens, right? He was the opener for a while, and he struggled with that. And I think now in the bullpen, he's just realized a new role. He knows he's only got an inning to go, and he comes hard at the guys. He's got a plus fastball, 96 right there, to Luke Voit. And he's thrown a lot more strikes. His issue early was a lot like Spencer Turnbull at times, where he falls off to the right side, the third base side. So he's got to stay on plane and go right towards the catcher's glove.
Voit drills the third pitch he sees from Soto into left for a base hit.
Voit loves the fastball middle half in. And that's where that ball was. And about the third of the plate on the inside part, Voit just hammered it. Urshela
There's
hitting now
Gio
for Mike
Urshela
Ford.
pinch hitting for Mike Ford. We saw Urshela in game 1 going 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts. Swings and misses at the first offering. Takes strike 2. Yankees scored 2 in the first. It was a 2-run homer from Aaron Judge. He went the opposite way for number 22 on the year. They scored 1 in the second. Tigers answered with 2 in the fourth, thanks to a 2-run double from Brandon Dixon, and then New York popped another one on in the fifth. That's where we stand right now. 4 runs, 9 hits, and an error for New York. 2-5-1 for Detroit. Second time that John Schreiber has gotten up under the watchful eye of Jeff Pico to throw. Urshela fouls that back. Meanwhile, for New York, their flamethrowers warming up.
Well, Soto's just got to keep this game right where it is. You cannot spot them that extra insurance run. If you're going to have any chance off of Chapman.
Yankees are off to Toronto after this. Tigers welcome in Baltimore for the first of 4 tomorrow night. Another 1-2 to Urshela. Scalds one to left center. That is blasted, and that ball is gone.
Wow. It's amazing to me. Aaron Boone's pinch hits for Mike Ford, the left-hander, to have a right-hander, Urshela. And Urshela is a good breaking ball hitter. Even though Soto throws a good fastball, he worked the count to get this breaking ball. And it wasn't a terrible pitch, but that's what he was looking for right there. We saw him hit one earlier in this series, and this one hit it even further. He's smiling.
I would be too. That's his 20th home run of the year, Jack.
Another 20-run guy, huh?
So that's 9 guys for the Yankees with 20 homers or more. Mercy. Tyler Wade, the number 9 hitter. 2 for 3, a double and a run scored in the 5th, and a beautiful drag bunt in the 7th. Two homers for the Yankees today, or tonight, after belting a couple earlier today. Give him 280 on the year. Three and 1 to Wade. On the outside corner, and it's full. Three, 2 fouled. don't think the Yankees will match what they did in August when they hit 74, a major league record 74 homers, but 24 in 8 games in September isn't too shabby. It's a nice start, isn't it? And Wade draws a walk. Ron Gardenhire doesn't need to see any more. Gregory Soto faced 3 hitters, all of them reaching base, and with the top of the order due up and a man on and nobody out, he'll turn to John Schreiber. We'll tell you a little bit more about the Tigers' young reliever on the other side of the break. Yankees have packed a punch all day today. They lead at 6-2 in the nightcap after winning the game earlier today, 10-4. Now John Schreiber is in here in the 9th, replacing Gregory Soto. He inherits a man on at the top of the order.
And needs to record 3 outs here to get through this 9th inning. Big blow there, the home run by Gio Urshela. Gives the Yankees a 4-run lead.
Yankees had 2 2-run homers in the first game earlier today. They have 2 2-run homers in the nightcap. LeMahieu swings at the first pitch, and it's 0-1.
He's trying to hit another one of those 2-run homers right there.
Now 0-2. Single, a double, and a couple of strikeouts for the Birmingham native. High in the zone, 1-2. Outside. The big surprise in game 1 is LeMahieu didn't reach base. He's reached base now in 111 of 132 games he's played. He's been on base twice or more 73 times during that stretch. This will be the 3rd time he's reached base tonight as he greets John Schreiber with a single to right. So the Yankees on the verge of their 97th win, Jack. A comfortable lead over Tampa, the 2nd largest of any division leader. Who do you think has the momentum, the best put together team to make a deep run in the American League playoffs?
Well, I always go back to pitching, right? And Houston, to me, has got the best pitching staff with starters and maybe even the entire bullpen. And now the Yankees have got a good back end of their bullpen, but a little limited there. The Twins and the Yankees are going to slug it out with anybody, but I don't think the Twins have the pitching depth that they might need going deep into the postseason. It's going to be interesting. You know, anything can happen. That's why we play the games.
Is there one of the wild card hopefuls you think could surprise you?
Well, Oakland could surprise some people. I'm not really on Cleveland right now. I think they've shown too much inconsistency. They win a few, they lose a few. It's like they can't quite get it clicking when they really need to get it clicking. But with that being said, they have a big series coming up with the Twins, and that could really determine that division yet.
Just outside now, 1-2 to Aaron Judge. I think what's interesting when we say possible hopefuls of the wild card, you didn't mention Tampa, considering they have the better pitching of all those playoff hopefuls.
Well, Tampa, Oakland, or right now Cleveland,
nice save by Grainer,
would probably have to play the Yankees in a, you know, after they play each other. You know, whoever wins the 1st and 2nd spot will play each other in a 1-game playoff, and then they'd have to face the Yankees. And I'm not sure any one of those 3 teams can beat the Yankees in a 5-game series.
Tampa's staff, as a staff, leads the American League in ERA. Judge on the ground to Beckham. He'll make the tag and complete the double play. That's a veteran move right there.
He gets LeMahieu out of the baseline there and applies the tag. He's going to be out either way. And then he's got the mindset to still get rid of the ball quick enough to get Judge at first.
Wade moves to third, and with 2 away, here's Didi Gregorius. Has an RBI single tonight in 4 at-bats.
Tarpley up now, and they've set Chapman back down. It's not a safe situation, so Aaron Boone doesn't want to waste those high octane bullets.
And Stephen Tarpley will face Jordy Mercer, Brandon Dixon, and Grayson Greiner in the 9th. Two and one now to Gregorius.
If the playoffs were to start today, the Twins would probably match up with Houston. And even though the Twins have, I think, won the series so far against Houston, that was earlier in the year when their pitchers were doing better. So that could be quite a battle between two teams. I also don't know as though the Twins are all that healthy right now, and they need all the guys banging that ball around to have the ability to beat a pitching staff that includes Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander,
Zach Greinke, and Wade Miley. Yeah. The 2-2 foul back. Yeah, I think you're right. As impressive as Minnesota's offense is, I think Houston and New York, their offense is just as dangerous, but their pitching is so much better. Stump the lefty, Reininger the righty. I might think differently if Minnesota's pitching was a little healthier, but because of some recent revelations, they've had some struggles. Gregorius skies one to center. Harold Castro takes care of it. Tigers need at least 4 in the 9th. Can they get it? It'll be Mercer, Dixon, and Greiner hoping to set the table for.
Oh, in case you just joined all day, we had a game earlier, and the Yankees ended up hitting a pair of home runs. Luke Voigt hit a 2-run home run, and then Edwin Encarnacion crushed another one off of Matthew Boyd. Dawel Lugo went opposite field off of Jay Happ and got the Tigers a couple runs. The final score, 10-4 Yankees in game 1 of this 2-game series, or 2-game day. DJ LeMahieu moves over to first base. Gio Urshela over to third base.
Urshela had that pinch hit home run, the 2-run blast in the 9th to extend the New York lead. Now 6-2. Mercer singled and scored in the 4th, sandwiched in between a couple of strikeouts. 1-1 to him against Tommy Kahnle, who remains in here in the 9th. Now 1-2. Mercer 0 for 1 in his career with a walk against Kahnle. Wave and a miss.
That was another changeup and had pretty good movement there. Kahnle gets Jordy to swing. out in front, but that's because of the location of that changeup. That's exactly where you want to throw every changeup, down and away.
Now Brandon Dixon. Pretty much the Tigers' offense tonight. He and Harold Castro each have 2 hits. And then the Mercer single, and that's been it offensively. One of Dixon's hits, the double in the 4th, drove in both Tigers' runs. Inside. Dixon has 15 homers to set the pace for Detroit. 12 have come against right-handed pitchers.
We talk about Tiger pitchers all the time flying open. Well, you saw the last 2 pitches from Kahnle. He did the same exact thing, flying open with his front side, and wasn't able to locate the last 2 pitches. Look at how far he spun off there. 3 straight balls. Trying to overthrow is what he's trying to do. He's trying to hurry, and he's not using his leg strength. He's doing his upper body with everything. See how he just spun right off.
How do you get out of a groove if you're a pitcher when he threw so well in the last inning and your team is
trying too
up
hard
by 4? Yeah,
he's trying to throw at 115 miles an hour.
Brandon Dixon.
Yeah,
was,
that's 4 runs.
I was just going to say, a little confused at the strike and ball count there. So it's just the 2nd walk of the night for Detroit. It's a big smile with Ramon Santiago down there at first. You didn't want to come see me for a 3rd time? What? What's up? He's got to adjust those pants a little bit, Jack, and then he'll be back in the rhythm. Kahnle came in the 8th and got a double play. Trying to close it out here for New York, who has gone 23-2 in their last 25 series.
Amazing. They've really had a great year. So many injuries, and yet phenomenal numbers offensively. Just a well-balanced team.
Gets away, and that allows Dixon to move up to 2nd. No one has suffered as many man games lost to injury than the Yankees this year. Those other 4 teams aren't going to the postseason. Philly might, but as of right now, they're not.
It's crazy how well the Yankees have played. They're on pace to maybe even pass the Twins for the 2nd time for the most home runs.
Greiner sprays one to right center. Is that going to get up the gap? It will. Dixon's going to score. Greiner's hustling all the way. He wants to get to 3rd, and he will. 2nd triple of the night for the Tigers. And they're within 3.
No, the real question was Aaron Judge going to be able to get to this ball. He was closing the gap, and he's got such a large wingspan that you never knew. But Grayson put a little charge in this one, and once he gets by, he's got a little extra giddy up in his step. You see Judge, total extension there. It just gets out of his reach. Brandon Dixon was waiting to make sure that that ball dropped before he went home. He was going to have plenty of time. And that'll be the end of the day now for Tommy Kahnle.
Greiner's had a nice series. He just belted his first career triple. It comes off Tommy Kahnle and forces New York to go to their closer. 2nd time Detroit sees Aroldis Chapman this year. On April 2nd, they got to him. He lasted an inning, gave up 3 hits and 2 earned runs. Thanks to Dustin Peterson's RBI double, Jordy Mercer slammed it back up the box. They forced 23 pitches from Aroldis Chapman in a 3-1 Tigers victory. Tommy Kahnle did not like his outing at all.
Well, we know what Chapman's features. It's high velocity. Can reach 102, 103 at times. 97 first pitch. Hicks has to jump out of the way. And he can drop the hammer on you. You can see the average fastball for Aroldis since 2016 has steadily gone down a touch. But when he's fresh, he can still reach back and get that 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Leads the American League in saves. Hicks fouls it back. Is second in the majors in the category. The 36 saves he has matches the most he's had since he recorded a career-tying high 38 in 2013. Here's the 1-1. Painted. Now the 1-2 to Hicks. Reaches out and fouls it away. Foul back. 99 gas.
Well, John Hicks still finding a way to put a piece of that bat on the ball and stay alive in this count. Hasn't seen the hammer yet. Hasn't thrown a curveball. Here comes the curveball. Slider.
Reaches out. Oh, nice play by Urshela from the seat of his pants. Gets by LeMahieu. Another runs home, and the Tigers are within 2.
John Hicks found a way to put the bat on the ball here. Almost had himself a ball through the infield on the left side. Let's watch it develop right off the end of the bat. Just a short, quick swing. Urshela, like Shep was saying, throwing from his backside. And it was off the line a little bit. Didn't look like LeMahieu was going towards the baseball at all. He was just stretching and then reaching to his left. So it wasn't a good play by LeMahieu.
Travis Demerit's going to pinch hit. Hitting for Gordon Beckham in the number 9 spot. Earlier today, Travis Demeritte with a solo homer. That's his 3rd of the season. It came in the 8th. You give us one of those and we'll be all tied up. The 0-1. Man, heavy heat.
Going to be awful hard for Travis to catch up to that one upstairs. He's got to lay off that if he can. It's so hard because you got to get started with your swing. And that split second is all you have to make a determination of whether it's going to be out of the zone or not. That's what makes Chapman so tough. It's going to be another fastball here.
Fouled it back. Heck of a job by the Tigers, though, Jack. I mean,
yeah,
you lose the first game rather handily, and they have battled here tonight, even though they have not been able to string together a ton of hits, just 7 hits, but they have battled, haven't they?
Making the Yankees earn this one
Yeah.
if they end up with the save here, and Chapman records that they've earned it.
Another 0-2 inside at 101.
Well, he went from 98 to 99 to 100 to 101.
Now the 1-2. Just got a piece.
It's almost like you get a cookie there. You know, he got a piece of that, believe it or not. But that one is the one pitch that can speed up a hitter's bat, and he spins it. You know, this is a mistake pitch. He wants it down, and it stays right over the middle of the plate.
Another 1-2. Swung on and missed. Took something off that. 2 away.
Now that's the good curveball right there. Comes right back with the breaking ball. Only this one he buries down in the zone.
Now Victor Reyes will face Aroldis Chapman for the first time in his career. He is the game-tying run. And another chance to extend his career-high hitting streak. On the ground to second. And the Yankees take both games on this windy and somewhat chilly Thursday. Tigers made them work. 6-4 the final. Let's head over to the Tigers live desk with Mickey York and Dan Petrie. Fellas.
All right, Shep, thank you very much. Coming up on Tigers Live, we'll take a look at how the local kid did some damage tonight to DJ LeMahieu's performance in this nightcap. We'll also look at why Spencer Turnbull was better than the final numbers might have indicated. We'll show you how the Yanks just out-muscled the Tigers in the 2 games of this doubleheader, and Ron Gardenhire reacts to a long day at the ballpark for his club. Coming up next on a post-game edition of Tigers Live.